do you think relations with England, economically speaking, will continue to stay the same, or England push to maybe dominate a little bit more, or as they earlier promised, they're going to give more power to Scotland to decide taxes, welfare policies, these sorts of things?
Well, I don't think it's fair. My impression is I don't think it's fair to say they voted for the status quo. Again, both, it's amazing that both campaigns ran the no and the yes, ran on an anti-austerity platform. Everyone in Scotland is fed up with the way things are, and that is shared broadly in England and Wales and Northern Ireland. Now, not everybody has the same answers. Likewise, even if they had voted for the status quo is not an option. You wake up this morning to find that those last-minute powers that Cameron promised, you know, will change everything, really. The three major parties have promised all these new, not very well-defined powers to Scotland, and they're, one, not good enough to make most people in Scotland happy about them, but two, they're the fact that they were vowed without any consultation with the electorate in the rest of the UK also brings up legitimate questions about the fact that, you can't, devolution is already problematic democratically, in the sense that, I mean, when the Scottish Parliament voted to protect school fees, Scottish Labour MPs voted for Tony Blair's introduction of university fees in the rest of the UK. And people rightly said, that's absolutely outrageous. Why vote in a party bloc with Tony Blair when you're protecting school fees in your own constituencies or the people in the parliament? So, but that means there's a big mess, and Scotland might get stuck in the middle of that, especially now that a lot of this is in the three major parties' hands to squabble out, and not really in Scotland's hands.
Mm-hmm. And then leading on from that, we saw really high political engagement. Essentially, like the vote was around 85%. Some areas, in excess of 90, which are incredible figures for any kind of vote, let alone this one. So this shows that there is some form of political engagement here in Scotland around this question. But as you've said, a lot of it maybe has to do with economic factors, austerity factors, to deal with even things about the welfare state, education on both sides, not just the yes side. So after this, do you think Scotland will see more political engagement in these sorts of issues? People get involved in these, or will it drop off straight after the independence vote?
Well, I've lived here for about a week, so I'm not in a position to make any predictions about the Scottish character or what's going to happen. I can only say that I'm endlessly impressed with what happened in the level of participation. I mean, I think it's a record for the UK.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
85% or so. It's certainly a record for Scotland. And the level of debate here has really impressed me throughout. I mean, I really don't know how I would have voted, but I'm glad I didn't have to decide. But at the same time, it's my hope that, and I think everybody's hope that continues. And I think there are signs that it will continue, and there will be pressure to change, make real change, and not just the change that's been, shoved in at the last minute by the three major parties. And I think there are some ways that can happen, though it's very tricky now. We've got a situation where, because David Cameron promised these powers, there's people suggesting that we now have a two-tiered parliament in the UK. So because they rightly say you can't have Scottish people voting on things that only affect the English, because they have their own votes on those things. So they want like days where the Scottish MPs don't show up or something, and that would basically, I mean, Labour voters in England don't want to get rid of 40 Labour votes. I mean, that's not a satisfactory solution. And other people want an English parliament, which would be fair, or more local governments, like equal to the Scottish parliament. But it's not sure that everybody wants that. Now, that would be probably the best solution, but even if everybody wanted that, that's going to be politically very difficult. So we have a big mess right now.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Excellent. We'll wrap it up there. That was really great. Excellent answers. Thank you very much.